guys, welcome back to my channel. As you can tell, I am talking to you guys. I am not texting. Wow, improvement. Social anxiety overcome. Not quite. Now, I'm sure you all know why we're here, and that is to do a Q&A, because that is what you guys voted for my 1,000 subscriber special, which, by the way, thank you so much for 1,000 subscribers. I know I've said it before, but again, thank you very, very much. Also, I'm so sorry if, like, my audio is very off. This is literally the first time I've ever done this, or done anything like this. So, yeah. Starting with some basics, my name is Key, K-Y. I'm dyslexic, give me a minute. K-E-Y. Yes, like something used to unlock a door. It's a long story why that is my internet name. Obviously, I am not talking about my real name. You can also call me Magnet, you can call me Phantom, Magnetized, Phantomiized, blah 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 blah, etc, etc, etc. Call me whatever, as long as it makes sense and is obviously appropriate. As for other such basic things, I use they, them pronouns. I would prefer people use that for me. At the end of the day, it doesn't bother me. I'm not gonna care if you use something different. Obviously, not everyone's gonna know, so don't worry about it. But yes, that means that I identify as non-binary. Obviously, I sound very feminine, so I'm sure you can all take some guesses. But yeah. You know, as I'm recording this voiceover, I have noticed that there are a lot of words that I repeat all the time, so I am so sorry. But anyways, I digress. I am 22. I work as a teacher support specialist in special education. I obviously can't go too much into that, but yeah. Recently I was injured though, so I literally haven't been to work since April vacation of this year. Yeah, it was a time in my life. I tore my ACL. Fun fact, that is the second time I have ever torn my ACL in my life. I have torn both of my ACLs. Both of them. Both of them. Only just recently have I started returning to restricted duty, so I do a lot of like paperwork stuff, but I'm not in my classroom, which I'm sad about. But I will be back in my classroom, I think in like December, my doctor said. Yeah. Literally how many times can I say but yeah or yeah? Oh, I also still have physical therapy twice a week, so that is still a thing. I'm a very busy person, apparently. I'm literally trying so hard not to say yeah or but yeah at the end of every single sentence. Oh my god. Just some other things about me. I have, a lot of reptiles. I have an albino leopard gecko named Comet. I have a blue-tongued skink named Tamale. I have a king snake. He's black and white. His name is Oreo. Very creative, I know. I have a red monster bearded dragon, so he's like super bright red. His name is Rock. The name for him is... it's something, alright. And then I have Lucci, who is my red bearded dragon. They call her a red bearded dragon in like reptile terms, but she's really just orange. She's just orange. Speaking of which, she has actually stolen a Cheeto from me. Literally the same color as her. Stole it right out of my hands. And then last but not least, we have Butter, who is my butter pastel ball python. Again, I am so original with my names, I know. Oh yeah, I also have a dog. His name is Scout. He literally follows me everywhere, and he's literally sitting outside of my door as we speak while I film this voice recording. As for interests outside of IDV and stuff, I love to cosplay. I won't go into details, but I used to be a fairly popular cosplayer on TikTok. I still kind of am. I just haven't posted in like a year, maybe. It's been a while since I posted consistently over there. Yeah, cosplay, I do art. I've had my art in galleries before. Just do horseback riding. That was really fun. I loved that. God, there is really just so much I can talk about. That's just like basic rambling stuff. I tend to ramble a lot, which I guess is why I started with just text on my videos, but also because I have a lot of social anxiety and I just really don't always have the time, you know? But I have a wonderful partner. You see them in my videos a lot, actually. I play with them very, very frequently. Usually, unless I'm like in a bit of a grinding mood to like go grind IDV content, I am honestly usually playing with my partner. So that's probably why it sometimes takes me a while to get content, because we honestly just mess around a lot in IDV. So do play seriously. They are my rank duo, so when we do rank, I always rank with them. I don't really rank with anyone else. Maybe occasionally other people, but that's about it. But yeah, you guys see them a lot in my videos. They also use they, them pronouns, just a heads up. Their user is Take Your Heart, which, yes, is a Persona 5 reference. We absolutely love Persona 5, which that is another interest outside of IDV, is stuff like Persona 5 and other animes. I am pretty into it. I'm sure you could probably tell by the cosplaying interest, but yeah. Now, moving on, I do have quite a few viewer questions, which, speaking of, if you guys have any more questions, please feel free to comment them down below. I am more than happy to answer them as long as I feel comfortable answering them. So, first viewer question, what made you choose Gardener and Priestess as your mains, and do you have any tips? So obviously when I first started IDV, I was literally so bad at it. I didn't really know how to play, how to kite, how to do like literally anything. Like the first hunter I ever bought was Dream Witch. Dream Witch. Think about a beginner player playing Dream Witch. Hell, I'm like a very experienced player at this point and I can still barely play Dream Witch. But anyways, back to the question, what made me choose Gardener and Priestess? So I actually remember the moment that I realized I loved playing Gardener. I remember the exact match and everything too, which is very strange, but I do. It was a Lakeside match against a Dream Witch. Funny, Dream Witch on Lakeside. That was actually my first Dream Witch match ever too, where I realized, wow, I really should not be playing Dream Witch. Anyways, funny how the Gardener match on Lakeside against the Dream Witch is like, oh wow, I should really play Gardener. I just realized how fun she was to play, and I just loved her playstyle, and I loved her playstyle even more after her most recent buffs, which I've been playing Gardener since like a long time, when she only had one bubble at the start of the match, and then after that you kind of just had to rock kite after that. She's just a really fun character to play personally, and I absolutely love her. I think she needs a little more love. I will say this about any character, honestly. Any character played right and played well is a very good character, and that goes for Hunter, Survivor, anything. Like, you could literally play the lowest tier character and you can still make something out of it, because it's really circumstantial, honestly. Like, there are many hunters who I've gone against who will literally down me in 5 seconds. Literally 5 seconds. And then there's other games where I kite the whole entire match, and this is many different characters. And then there's many different hunters that I play where I will literally get 5 cipher kited. Speaking of this Antonio, though, I was actually 5 cipher kited by a Helena on Red Church one time, and I have since refused to touch Antonio and use him. I refuse to play him now after that one moment. But then there's other matches that you just do wonderful. It's really hit or miss, honestly. This is what I meant by I have a rambling problem, by the way. I ramble a lot. As for Priestess, the reason why I decided to main her is she's very meta, and she's someone that I can also play fairly well. But of course, I didn't just choose her only because she's like a meta character. I mean, kind of. So in rank, you want to have more than one main on hand, so that if your character gets banned or if somebody takes your character, you have other options. So that was kind of what like Priestess was like for me. I was good at her. I played her well. I knew how to play her. I knew how she worked, etc., etc. She's very good in matches. I mean, she's banned all the time. So I was just like, hey, I'm really good at this. I'm gonna pick her up in rank, and this is gonna be fun. And oh my god, I almost had that dungeon. R.I.P. Fly High. But also, it is kind of a similar story for her. I just love playing her. I find joy in playing her. I've made quite a few characters over the years of playing IDV, which, honestly, I've played everybody in the book. I've literally played everyone in the book on the survivor side. Maybe not the hunter side. I don't play too much hunter, but I do play a decent amount of hunter. But with Priestess, she's just one of those characters that you kind of like... When you get a connection with a specific character and decide to main them, that's kind of really what makes me decide who to main, which I also main Little Girl, Prospector, and Patient in rank matches, but again, I could genuinely play just about anyone in the book and do my best with them. As for tips on how to play them, Gardener, you have to be very, very patient with your bubbles, and you don't want to just pop them for no reason, because the more you use your bubbles, the longer the cooldown is, so you gotta be really careful. As for, and like when it comes to chair harassing even, it's, you have to be very, very careful. As with like any character, you just have to be really careful with harassing. When I'm doing chairs, you always have to keep an eye on the hunter if they're nearby, because you don't want to get down, because that could potentially mess up the entire match. Literally one wrong move and you've messed up the match. And that goes for both sides. If you're playing Gardener in higher tier, which I am currently a Griffin 2, my highest tier ever is Alicorn, which I have played Gardener in Alicorn against peak tiers. You have, again, just, it all comes down to being really careful, honestly. You have to always expect that you're going to be the first chase as Gardener, because you are going to be the most viable chase when everyone is going like Merc, Priestess, Seer, even sometimes Prisoner. My partner will play Prisoner a lot, and the amount of times that the hunter has come to me over them is insane. Even when I'm playing Priestess, because if she isn't banned, there's a high chance that they're going to come to you, because they don't care about chasing a Priestess or dealing with a Priestess, and they're confident going against a Priestess, which is honestly kind of scary. Bravo to you for feeling that confidence, because I don't. I ban her all the time, I'm not going to lie. With Gardener tips, I will be coming out with a Gardener guide soon, as it was requested of me, so I will have a lot more to say about Gardener tips there. Let me know if you guys want any other guides for characters. I would be more than happy to put out guides for certain characters if I obviously know how to play them very well. So, Priestess tips. She may be a meta survivor and you can get away with not playing her the best, but if you also don't play her the best, you still have the potential to mess up the match. When you're kiting as Priestess, please do not worry about setting up like portals 100% straight or correct, because if you sit there and worry and try to place it exactly correct, you are going to take a hit. I've learned that multiple times. I still do it to this day. I will literally sit there and be like, well, this portal isn't going to be straight if I place it down right here. The main goal is that it works for you and then it gets you away from the hunter. Do not worry about setting it 100% straight. You're playing support Priestess. Usually I try to spawn in the center unless it's hospital, or I'll spawn in a graveyard in church sometimes, because if the hunter does decide to chase me, I have plenty of areas to put portals down and kite the hunter if they do come towards me. If you watched my A-Batch Priestess video, you notice I spawn in graveyard a lot, and that is purposeful because I have spawn selection. It's very nice, but sometimes I have spawned in the center of church because there are quite a few good portal placements you can do there to support your teammates. What makes Priestess so dangerous is she's really good at a lot of things. You can support, you can kite, you can rescue, you can global to the other side of the map, you can global to a survivor who's not at the gate yet. That's what makes her very meta. Honestly, I'm not too happy about the fact that she's getting nerfed, but I'm also happy at the same time because maybe it means she won't get banned as often, which is fine. I get really weary about nerfs because sometimes they make the stupidest nerfs ever. Remember when they nerfed Mad Eyes? Like, it was so random. And this was like not recently, maybe like a few seasons back. It was so weird. And then they nerfed Lucino, and I don't know, IDV just makes the weirdest nerfs, and it always makes me weary to know that they're nerfing or adjusting or buffing, because you never know what they're gonna do. It could be so stupid or so good, and you never know. Wow, I rambled on that one for a while. I'm sorry. The next question though is, where did you get the idea for your user? And that is actually a good question. I was sitting in my lobby and I wanted to change my user. I forget why I wanted to change it, but I did. And I was thinking, well, I want to do something around Prospector, because at the time I was a heavy Prospector main, and he's one of my favorite characters. So I was like, oh, I'll go magnetized. That sounds great, but magnetized was taken. So I was like, no, I really want this. I can't think of literally anything else. So I just put 2 eyes in it and called it a day. And then of course I got my second account and was like, well, I'm gonna stick to the same theme because I think this is funny. And then my third account and my fourth account, they all have the same exact theme of the name. I mean, it makes me recognizable, so I like that personally. I have had people recognize me in matches before. It's actually happened quite a few times. There was a hunter that has, which they're currently my friend list, they're very sweet. I've had survivors do so. It's very nice. I love when people recognize me. It does make me a little nervous because I am so worried that I'll do bad in the match, and yeah. So there's not exactly any specific reason why I named myself that. I just thought it'd be funny, and then I just kind of stuck with it, really. So I actually kind of answered this question just a little bit already, but the next question is, do you have a favorite IDV character, and what do you like about them if so? As I have said, I absolutely love the Prospector, Norton. He is by far my favorite IDV character altogether. My favorite IDV character lore-wise, playstyle-wise, just about, he kind of hits all the marks, I guess. For Hunter, though, I would have to say my favorite Hunter is the Photographer. The Photographer has been a long time main of mine. I actually own full Photographer, so I have every single one of his skins to date. So, yippee! Yippee. As for why I like them with Prospector, like I said, I love his lore. I love his backstory. I love his playstyle. He's genuinely a very good character, in my opinion. And with Joseph, again, I just love his backstory. I love his lore. I love his playstyle. Everything just hits all the marks for me. The next question is IDV one of the only games you play, or are there more? So, I do play a lot of other games. A lot of them are mobile. I do play a few on my laptop, but most of them are mobile. Those would be Genshin Impact, I play Honkai Impact, I play Honkai Star Rail, Bandori, Project Sekai, Skullgirls, I play Dislight, I play Punishing Grey Raven. I have also played a lot of computer games, like I said. I own every single Danganronpa game to this day. I've played Your Turn to Die, I've played a lot of indie horror games. I love horror games. Horror games are literally my jam. I love Persona. I love the whole Persona series, actually. I also play a lot of Project Diva on my Switch. Very fun. 10 out of 10 would recommend. It's a little difficult. Just a little difficult. I am also most definitely missing some of the games that I play. I play a lot of games. It's a little hard to keep track of all of them at once. Yeah. Now, the final question I have from you guys is, what made you start your channel? So this is, again, a very good question, and I absolutely love it. What made me start my channel was, I've always been involved with social media. Like I said earlier, I was a fairly popular cosplayer Oh my god, my gameplays are so messed up. They're always messed up. Why are they always messed up like this? I don't get it. Anyways, I kind of started cosplaying a little less. I still, to this day, don't cosplay as much as I used to, but social media was always something that I personally enjoyed, and then I got into this game, IDV, and ever since then, I've just played it, and eventually I was like, hey, I'm gonna start a TikTok for this, and I started a TikTok account for IDV gameplay with one of my friends, who they're not on the account anymore, but it used to be a joint account, fun fact. But eventually it just became mine because they just didn't post on it much anymore, which I'm still friends with them. They're great. 10 out of 10. I have adopted them, essentially. But, so I started doing that, and then I was like, hey, what if I do a YouTube? Because why not? I see people do it all the time, and maybe that's something I could do too, because I don't do as much social media stuff as I used to. I have the time for this. And so I did. It was mostly out of like genuine curiosity of like how it would work, how it would go, would people like my content, would I enjoy doing it, which I do enjoy doing it, I found out, and just a general love for like watching gameplays and playing games. I literally grew up watching people play games and playing my own games as well. We used to have a PS4 and a PlayStation Portable, and I would play it with my dad or my brother all the time. So I've always had like a really big love for games, and it wasn't until like recently, within like the past almost 2 years now, coming up in December, that I started posting gameplays, and I do not regret it one bit. So that was all I really got for questions. Again, if you have any questions yourself and you didn't get a chance to ask earlier, feel free to ask them. I will answer them to the best of my ability in the comments. I will still talk for the rest of this video because obviously there is still a match going on, and it's a Joseph match, so it is a very long match. So I will just commentate as normal, but with my voice instead of text, so please bear with me. Sometimes what I like to do is I like to break chairs while I'm running towards something. Unless I'm running towards someone's chair, I won't do it, but if I'm just running towards a cipher, for example, I will break some chairs because why not? It doesn't really waste much time, it's pretty quick, and if it's on the way to a cipher, there's no harm done. Plus, you never know when it can be useful. Sometimes it doesn't get any use. Sometimes it does, so it's just nice to do here and there if you're not like sitting at somebody's chair and harassing the chair, really. It gives you points, so you may as well do it. So here there isn't much that I can really do except just try to waste his time and move away from the gate, which I didn't really get too far from the gate, obviously, but I did waste at least a little bit of his time, and then everyone else buys enough time to get myself healed up. Obviously mistimed my bubble. Don't worry, it happens. And then I made the mistake of dropping this pallet. I really shouldn't have dropped it. I should have just, vaulted over the one I just dropped before that and made a run for it. But obviously I did not do that. It happens. Sometimes you just get that one little brain cell jumping around in your brain and you come up with nothing. It happens. I do it literally all the time. I also didn't quite realize that Coordinator had tied and was trying to get the gate open, but it was only about 50%, and even with tied, it's still a little tricky to make that happen, so it was probably better that I did run away in the end. But please pay attention to if people have tied or not when they rescue you, because you never know, it could really save the game if you realize that they have tied. Also, I do not recommend gate waiting. The only reason my cowboy and I wait at this gate is to make sure that Cord has enough time to get herself up, because Bento is nearby to pick her up, and we wanted to make sure that they would get up. That's all. So again, why are my replays so messed up? Oh my god.
Pew pew.